Okay guys, hey, I'm back. Second video. We're going to be discussing that last essay and why the judges graded why they graded. So in this last essay, the first introductory paragraph says, "In the story of McTague, the author shows his dislike and his superiority over McTague in the way he describes and writes about McTague and his tone." Not very descriptive. It does have the word tone and describes, but it really doesn't tell us how he describes it. Doesn't have any quotes or any literary terms particularly. So this one is definitely not the strongest introductory paragraph. But let's move on. The first thing that one would notice there, he's basically discussing the reader, which is kind of taboo. Try not to discuss the reader at all possible, because then you're talking authorial intent or reader's perception, and you're not the reader, so you really can't say what other people read it as, so that would be falling into that category. One would notice is how McTague's life how McTague's life goes, and how he himself is described. That isn't really an argument, that's just summary. And if you want to take time to pause this video and read through the rest of it, it's basically... Sorry about that dog in the background. Anyway, as I was saying, if you want to pause this video and look through and read through the rest of the paragraph, it's mostly just a lot of description and not really any analyzation going on. And that's literally one paragraph. So from here all the way up to here is one paragraph, and that's just kind of overkill in my opinion. You don't need to have a paragraph that big. If we go up here, all of the paragraphs are slightly shorter, they're more condensed, and they are more straight to the point. This is why this is that way kind of thing. Shorter paragraphs, they're literally maybe 6 lines at the most long. This is literally a page and a half long. So try to avoid rambling on about the same topic for gosh knows how long. Anyway, the next paragraph's topic sentence, also the the cynic tone. So they did add a literary term there. The passage is mocking, the mocking towards men like McTague. So basically it's philosophizing, mocking towards men like McTague. That's a little bit of philosophizing. And also try to avoid, if you're gonna put is in your paragraphs, avoid the topic sentence having the is in it, because then it's just beaver, not very strong sentence at all, and it's summary. So it's not really analyzing it at all. The next paragraph, that one was slightly shorter, which is nice. Other Clement. Another element that shows the author's opinion and McTague is the length of the sentences. That's getting there. They're getting slowly better throughout the essay, which is good, but it's basically a little bit of authorial intent, but it's definitely getting better throughout. The next one is through all of these elements, tone, detail, length, reflects the author's attitude towards McTague and the men like McTague. That was his conclusion. Okay, I can see why this person got a 5. It's not a passing essay, but they do have some good things in here that is worth noting. The sentence structure was the sentence length was very good. I wish they had gone into more detail about that. Superiority over men who only wish to secure what they must, that kind of thing. This paragraph is really good. I wish that mostly he just needs to expand upon what he's talking about and not just give examples. He needs to explain those examples, kind of thing. So now we're going to go over and find out why the judges graded what they graded. So for the first essay, the really well-written essay, they said, this well-written, persuasive essay stresses from the start that the predominant tone of the passage is one of pity, made evident through the juxtaposition of McTague's strengths and his stupidity. The student demonstrates how diction builds up, then undercuts McTague in paragraph 1. The essay thoroughly chronicles how details demonstrate the source of narrator's pity. You can go through the rest of this. Basically, they like the diction and details. The conclusion had perfect control. They used their literary terms. You can read it completely and pause the video if you need to. But moving to the second essay, 2 excellent sentences begin this essay. So that's talking about the introductory paragraph. The writer addresses both tone and technique in the brief introduction with an almost cruelly indifferent tone. So this adjudicator liked the fancy language, probably because they had gone through a bunch of essays that didn't have any descriptive words in them at all, and which is good for this person. Personally, I would stay away from them as much as possible, like I said before. Add them when you need them to, but cruelly indifferent tone just doesn't speak to me as well as it does to this adjudicator, but that's okay. I'm not the adjudicator. I'm just the AP student. Then you can read the rest of this, like I said before. They refuse. He's talking about like refusing. The rest of the essay is good, but it doesn't go into significant detail to develop the claims that are asserted as convincingly as the essays that earned an 8 or 9. So basically, he didn't back up what he was saying here before. They didn't have the examples they needed to back up what they were saying in the first paragraph. And the last essay, while this student understands the entire tone is mocking with unflattering description of McTague, the essay relies too heavily on simple summary. So, summary, like we were saying before. The student does not analyze how the details showed the narrator's dislike or superiority. Repetition of sentence openers, the first, next, the author, then the author, next, does not suggest much assertiveness to style. Attentiveness to style. So, using the same sentence structure over and over and over and over and over again gets kind of boring after a while. And the adjudicators are looking for something that's going to catch their eye, something that's going to make them go, oh, okay, yeah, that's actually a good opinion. I like that. Not, then the author did this, and next the author did that, and then this, and the first, those kinds of things, they're just like, okay, you're lulling me to sleep now. basically just lulling me to sleep. Then the adjudicator said, a very brief conclusion relies on merely a single sentence to summarize the points in the essay as already covered. Thus, the essay's treatment of the passage is superficial and pedestrian. So basically, my theory is this person spent way too much time reading the passage and not trying to come up with analytical arguments to it. And they ran out of time at the very end and relied on one sentence of summary in order to conclude the essay. I find myself doing that sometimes, but in order to get through the prose essays, skimming through the passages and going back if you need to as you're writing the essay is probably a way better option than reading it all the way through unless you're a really fast reader. Then, you know, if you can read fast and write fast, go ahead and read the entire passage and take all the time you want and write your essay as fast as you want. That's your strengths. My strengths and a few of your guys' strengths are probably not reading very fast or writing very fast, or, you know, both. I can't read fast or write fast. So, the skimming technique works really good for me. I hope it'll work really good for you guys if you decide to use the skimming technique. And avoid summary at all possible. Mr. Harris has been telling us this for gosh knows how long. Then don't let time run down to the point where you're summarizing in a single sentence. And go back up here, and if you need to, screenshot this entire section and just like read it over and over and over again, because this is exactly what you guys need to do in order to win the prose essays. Anyway, guys, I hope you found that somewhat instructional.